The Keitaro team is here as usual, and we start the next topic of our course on working with a tracker, namely S2S Postback. So what is S2S Postback? Keep in mind that the same terminology may have different meanings in different systems. For example, in an affiliate program, it means that they are sending an S2S Postback to Keitaro. However, for the tracker, it is an incoming postback, not an S2S Postback. In Keitaro, the S2S Postback is tied to a specific link. You can add it in different ways, and I'll show you how. For any link you set up or use from templates, you need to include data from Keitaro that has already been sent. A mandatory condition is that the data is sent only when the tracker receives an incoming conversion. When the incoming postback reaches the tracker records the conversion, and only then is the S2S postback triggered. To make everything clear, I've prepared a small diagram. I just wrote in a notebook how it works, how the traffic flows, how the postbacks are sent back, and things like this. Now let's go over the elements in the traffic chain that interact with the tracker. So first, traffic source. The traffic source can be native or paid traffic. Essentially, it is any source where Keitaro's tracking link is placed and from which traffic flows to the tracker or your website, connected with the tracker scripts, for example. As the traffic source, you'll also find the link to which you need to send the S2S postback. Additionally, the traffic source provides the list of tags or macros they want to receive. This includes details such as the source's click ID or creative ID. I'll explain this in more detail later with an example. Alright, what's next? The Keitaro itself, the tracker. So Keitaro records incoming tags with each click, saves them in the database, and if necessary, forwards these tags via S2S Postback. Well, many users aim to transfer these tags to the affiliate program to receive a postback. However, this isn't necessary. You only need to allow Keitaro to capture the incoming tags. It will save them, and you can send them via S2S Postback if needed. Let's go further. The third part is our offer. The offer refers to what you're advertising. This could be an affiliate offer, direct ad, or your own website with Keitaro script installs. Postbacks are sent from this site to Keitaro to confirm conversions. This could be sent by an affiliate program or by Keitaro's tracking script. The tracker records the incoming postback data and can send it onward via S2S, as described earlier. And finally, the postback from Keitaro to the specified URL. So postback from Keitaro. Keitaro sends the postback to the address specified by the traffic source. This postback can include three types of the data. So first one, data from the traffic source. This includes the source's click ID, creative ID, or other parameters you define. The next is data determined by Keitaro. This includes information like browser, version, IP address, campaign ID, or other data Keitaro collects during tracking. So actually it could be any data from the reports click section. So like IP, campaign ID, flow ID, etc. And finally, data from the affiliate program. So this includes information received via incoming postbacks such as status, payment amount, or from data, for example, name, phone number, and things like this. So actually, all the data that Keitaro can send in an S2S postback is listed in the macros and placeholders section of the Keitaro documentation. So this is the link, and all the detailed information can be found here. I will show you the different types of settings right in a campaign. The first and easiest way to send the S2S from the tracker is to connect the sources template, which is already in the tracker, and you don't have to do anything else here. The source we take here, I created it specifically for this purpose. Well, this is going to be the clickadilla.com. All we have to do is just to save the changes. Follow the campaign link. Now, for example, here we have no incoming tags. So let's insert the real value of the click ID first. Changed the click ID macro to any random meaning. I will do AD. Source is gonna be Clickadilla site. And let's do the click. Alright, our click has now arrived at Keitaro. Let's go and check it. So we go back to our campaign. We'll go to the clicks. and just reload it. So this is our last click that we have just done. We can see the click ID last site that we indicated in our external ID over there. So the click from the source came through correctly, and the tracker recorded both the click ID and the website from which it was performed. Naturally, the click has already gone to the offer, and the affiliate network is now showing us the incoming postbacks, indicating that we received a conversion. Let's now send the conversion to our tracker, and I'll show you how to do it manually. So we go with the postback URL, we copy our postback link. All right, let me explain one more time briefly. So here we take the postback link. This is the Keitaro's postback link, which you place in the affiliate program. This link is specifically for the S2S Keitaro connection with the affiliate program. Let's take the click ID, insert it into the browser, and replace our click ID. Let's take our click ID. We'll change here instead of the replace. All right, so let's change for sale, and let's make the payout equals to 100, and let's do the click. That's all. The affiliate sends us the conversion data, and in general, this is how you can manually send it for testing purposes. It's quite useful. So now let's check what was sent to S2S. We have now reached the Keitaro Postback, which initializes the sending of S2S from Keitaro. However, there are certain conditions. These conditions are defined in the sources template when you add a source. So let's go to the traffic source and open the template. In the sources section, we see the Clickadilla, and let's check it out. The link is written here, right? So we see the S2S is sent from Keitaro only with certain statuses. Here you can choose all 4 or just one. So that's all. Now let's go and see how it looks. So let's go to the reports and conversion section. Our sub-ID, our campaign Academy S2S, so the status sale, that we put manually, and our revenue that equals to $100. We go to maintenance logs and received postback section. So right here we see a received postback in Keitaro with this kind of parameters right here: our sub ID of the click, status, and payout. So it is recorded as sub ID done. Right here we see that the sub ID was successfully recorded. Then we checked and confirmed what was sent from Keitaro. So right here we see the campaign number 17 has source postback. The campaign number 17, this is our Academy S2S campaign, and that means the system indicates here that campaign 17 will now send the actual S2S postback. It sends the postback, and here is the postback link, which was initialized by the incoming postback on this sub ID. We see what was sent, and by the way, we also send the parameters. Yeah, let me explain real quick. So first of all, token right here. Token equals to replace. I specifically choose this example to show you what replace means. So the token appears to be something required, perhaps a user token or an advertising account token, which you need to record this conversion. It could be anything, but if the S2S postback link contains replace, this means that you need to check with the source where you are sending it to determine what exactly should replace this field. You need to find out which parameter they require in order to receive it correctly. So most likely it's your user token or account token. However, the campaign ID, so right here we see campaign ID equals to add campaign ID. It wasn't sent. Why? Because nothing reached the tracker and nothing came back to us. The tracker has no data to write in this block. The next parameter is the click ID equals to external ID. And we see that the meaning was successfully sent by the tracker. So click ID equals to that meaning that we have put manually before with you. In the S2S postback, we take this parameter and send it back as the click ID, which in this case is AD80. Alright, now let's look at the conversion revenue and where it comes from. So we took the S2S postback links Meaning we use the template, so we already know which macro the tracker uses to send the information. What I mean here, as a team, developers, support, and others, we ensure that you can check which macro the tracker uses to send payout data from the affiliate program. To find out which macro the tracker sends for payout, you can also check the documentation, the section for the placeholder. So right here, you can see that the conversion revenue equals to revenue from conversion. Well, the macro is conversion revenue and we simply substitute it. But with the template, you don't actually need to know all of this. You just need to connect the template. That's very important. I'm just explaining it to make everything more understandable. All right, what's happened next? The system sends success to 100 right here. We can see it, right? If, for example, you don't receive a response from the source postback, then you need to check with them. If there is an error like timeout, that's also an issue on their side. We have now sent everything. From this point forward, what happened is beyond the scope of the tracker. It no longer depends on us. If you encounter a timeout or any other issue, just go to the source and clarify why it's happening. It could be a problem with their servers or something else. That's out of our hands. Alright, so let's summarize everything a little bit. So what needs to be done if you want to send the conversion to a source that already exists in the source section? I mean, if we already have template right here in the traffic source section. So first of all, don't forget you have to create the campaign. The second step is to place its link in the source. And finally, connect the template. This is the crucial because in addition to the link, the template includes all the necessary tags that first transmit the data, next receive the click, receive the conversion in the tracker, and automatically send the S2S postback. Let's move on. So handling a case where no template source exists in the tracker. So next, come into the case when you don't have a template in the source in the section in a tracker. So look, the first thing what we have to do, we need to create a template for this source in the tracker. That way it will be much more convenient for you. So let's start from here. We go to the source, traffic sources section and click the button create. And we are selecting a template. So there is nothing to choose. Okay, no template like this in the tracker. So we have to create a new one. So now here we need to specify the postback link where they want to receive the data, the address, and parameters. But first of all, before setting up the S2S link, we need to check the list of parameters that they will send us. So let's first put the name. Some of these parameters they will definitely require in the S2S postback, just like we require the affiliate program to send a sub-ID click, because it won't be possible to record a postback without it. I also wrote a small list. So the first thing you do, you go to the traffic source and you ask them, please provide us with a list of your tags and macros that you passed and the S2S postback link. They provide a link and, for example, a list of data. Usually the list is much bigger, but I just want to go through the key ones without spending too much time. So they send that. What are they sending? So first, click ID. As a source, click ID. The click cost as a click cost macro. So they also are sending for us browser and daytime. But pay attention, some of these parameters the tracker determines automatically. The browser, the tracker detects it itself, and date and time, the tracker records it automatically. So these tags are not necessary to receive in the tracker. However, if you really want to store them, you can. But the tracker cannot determine the following parameters. So the website itself, they see it as a source macro, and the click price, since this data it's not on the source side. So we focus on what is 100% taken from the source and recorded. For example, they might send also the host side, they might specify the data center or some other hosting info. The user category, they might classify users. And finally, the unknown macro, so something they require but we don't know what is it. Great, so let's move to the mapping the data in the tracker. So we go to our tracker, we see the keyword. And let's check if they provide it or not. So we know that they are not providing any of the keyword. So we're just skipping it. Let's move further. So the cost, check for the click cost. If they provide it, so we record it in the cost parameter. So we see that the click cost, they are sending under the click cost macro. So we put it right here. Currency. Do they specify this? No, they didn't send us this parameter. So let's do the default to USD. So let's just put USD right here. External ID. So what is the external ID? This is the click ID. Do we have it? Yes, we do. So click ID parameter, and they got this under the source click ID macro. So we put it right here. So they don't have the creative ID and they don't have the add campaign ID. The source, let's see. Under the source, the website, yeah, it's just gonna be the macro source. So all we have to do is to put the macro source right here. So we just have two parameters left. It's user category and our unknown macro. So let's do the final adjustments. The user category, so we take it and we will just put it under the sub ID too. The same we will do with our unknown macro. One more time, the tracker doesn't understand it, but the source requires it. So we put it under the sub ID number 3. So actually this is everything. So just summarize a little bit. So if a template doesn't exist, manually create it. Ask the source for their macros and S2S Postback link. You can manually store important data. So click cost, external ID, host site, and things like this. Once everything is set up, the tracker will correctly record and transmit the data. So let's move on. Well, now we need to set up the S2S Postback link. The source provides us with the Postback link and instructs us to send Postback data to it. So let's start. So the domain.com, this part remains unchanged, but we need to correctly fill in the parameters that will be sent from the tracker. So these parameters will be taken from the tracker's database and inserted into the Postback link. So let's start with configuring the parameters. First, token. So the source specifies that we should insert our cabinet ID into the token parameter. We have to set this accordingly. So let's just change the cabinet ID, just for example, that we know our cabinet ID. All right. Click ID. The source wants the click ID to be returned in the click ID parameter. We know they send click ID as the source click ID. The tracker records this source click ID as the external ID. So in the S2S Postback, we must send it back as the external ID. So we copy the value and then we wrapped it in the brackets right here. So we put the brackets, external ID, yeah, and we close it. So the tracker will automatically replace external ID with the actual recorded click ID when sending the postback. So the source requires a category parameter, so their system can categorize conversions properly. So we check this data is recorded in our campaign settings. So this is the category. We previously stored this into sub ID number 2. And what we have to do, we replace the category parameter in the postback link with the sub ID. Our category is the sub ID 2. We have this last one, unknown parameter, that our traffic source is required. It can be any required parameter, just for example. So the source required this parameter, and we know that we stored this GPS under the sub ID number 3. So all we have to do then is just to change it, the required equals to sub ID 3. That's it. Now that all the parameters are correctly mapped, our postback link is ready. So our last steps, what we have to do? So we have to copy our postback link, and let's get back to our template, and we have to add the postback link to this template. All right. Then we have to select the conversion statuses that we want to send. Either it's you need to sale, lead, rejected, and upsale. So you just have to choose whatever you need. You choose the statuses that will trigger the postback, for example, successful conversions. And finally, the fourth step is click Create button and apply it to the campaign. So we press the button Create, go to our campaign, Academy S2S, and now instead of this traffic, yes, we just have to choose the one that we just have created. So we save the settings and let's check the parameters. Yes, here you go. So we see that parameters from our template will be automatically substituted. Let's also check the section S2S Postbacks. And right here, we see this our S2S Postback link was successfully added. We have covered S2S Postback setup in details, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support team for assistance. And thank you one more time and have a great day.